Nobody talks about this part of old age. The midnight tears, the empty rooms, the memories that hit hardest when everything around you goes quiet. The world talks about old age like it's only about gray hair and slow steps and doctor appointments. But nobody talks about what happens after midnight, when the television is off and the house is still and the darkness settles in like an old familiar visitor that you never invited but always arrives anyway. That is when it comes. Not loudly, not dramatically, just quietly, a wave of something so heavy and so deep that your chest aches with the weight of it, and you lie there in the dark, alone with your memories, alone with your losses, alone with a silence that somehow manages to be louder than anything you have ever heard. And the tears come, not because you are weak, never because you are weak, but because you are human, and you have lived long enough to accumulate a kind of love and loss that most people have not yet begun to understand. You miss people. God, you miss people in a way that young hearts have not yet learned to carry. You miss the ones who left too soon, the spouse whose side of the bed has been cold for years, but whose presence you still feel in every corner of the house, the friend who laughed with you for decades and then one day simply was not there anymore, the parents you lost so long ago that the world has forgotten you still grieve them. But you do. You always will, because love does not have an expiration date, and grief does not follow a schedule, and missing someone does not stop simply because enough years have passed. It just changes shape. It gets quieter on the outside while somehow growing louder on the inside. And the memories, they come at night with clarity that daylight never allows. You remember voices that you can no longer hear. You remember faces exactly as they were, not old, not gone, but alive and laughing and present in your mind with a vividness that breaks your heart open every single time. You remember the house when it was full of noise and chaos and children running and meals being shared and arguments that seemed so important then and seem so irrelevant now. You remember being needed, being the center of something, being the one everyone turned to. And now the house is quiet, and you turn to no one. And at 3 a.m, that silence tells you things that the daylight is too busy to say. But here is what I need you to hear tonight, right now, in whatever quiet corner you are sitting in. Those tears are not weakness. They are the purest and most honest expression of a life that was deeply and completely lived. You do not cry over nothing. You cry because you love deeply. You cry because you built something real. You cry because the people you are missing were worth missing. And that says everything about the kind of person you are and the kind of life you lived. Empty people do not grieve like this. Cold hearts do not ache like this. Only the ones who truly loved, who gave everything they had to people around them. Only they cry these particular tears in these particular hours of the night. You are not invisible. You are not forgotten by the universe, even when you feel forgotten by the world. Every prayer you whispered in those dark hours was heard. Every tear you cried alone was seen. There is not a single moment of your pain that passed unnoticed by something greater than what any of us can fully understand. You are held, even when you cannot feel it. You are loved, even when the house is empty. You are not alone, even when every single thing around you says otherwise. So tonight, if the tears come, let them. Do not apologize for them. Do not fight them. Do not tell yourself you should be over by now, or that you are being too sensitive, or that others have it worse. Your pain is real. Your grief is valid. Your loneliness is not a character flaw. It is a natural result of a heart that loved more people than it has been able to keep. And a heart like that, a heart that loved that deeply and that completely, deserves every tear it needs to shed and every moment of grace it needs to heal. The night will end. It always does. Morning will come, quiet and soft and full of small mercies that are easy to miss if you are not looking. A cup of tea, a ray of sunlight through the window, a bird outside, a memory that makes you smile instead of ache. Hold on for those moments. They are coming. And you, with everything you have survived and everyone you have loved and every night you have already made it through, you are more than strong enough to reach them. You found this video for a reason. Stay with us. Follow Ageless Dream, because here you're always seen, always heard, and never alone.